Hey there, I'm Matt, and welcome to Game Dev Guide. Scriptable objects. You may have seen the term thrown around a bit among Unity developers, or this might be your first time hearing the phrase. Either way, if you're watching this, you're probably curious what the hell they are, what they do, and how you should use them. So what are scriptable objects? Put simply, they're a data asset. A scriptable object is a custom asset that you create in your project folder that holds a bunch of data. In the same way you'd assign any other asset, such as a prefab, sprite, or an audio asset to a monobehavior, you can also assign a custom scriptable object asset. Scriptable objects are extremely useful for managing shared data, especially constant data that isn't going to change while the game's running. Imagine you're making a driving game, and you want each vehicle in the game to drive at exactly the same speed. We can create a scriptable object that holds our speed variable. And using the Create Asset menu attribute in our script, we can create the asset by right-clicking in our project. Then, we define a speed for our vehicles on our asset, and in our vehicle class, we read the speed from the scriptable object asset. This creates an object property in the inspector of all of our cars. So if we assign our object to it, and test the game, we can see that all of our cars will move at the same speed. Now, if we go into our object asset and adjust the speed while the game's running, they'll update. Scriptable objects allow us to easily tune data and performance values for our game. Also, notice how the scriptable object has maintained the change we made in play mode. So, let's suppose we now want some of the vehicles to behave differently. Let's simply duplicate this asset and change the speed. We'll assign this new asset to a few of our friends here, hit play, and we've got some varied vehicle behaviors. Scriptable objects can be extremely useful for sharing data like this across entities in your game. You can also nest scriptable objects for more advanced shared data management. Let's suppose you're building a role-playing game. You may have a blob enemy, and you want 5 different variants of the blob for the 5 different biomes in your game. Now, you want there to be some marginal differences between them, such as movesets, but the core stats are mostly the same. You could have a base scriptable object with the base stats. This would then be inherited by another scriptable object with any variant data, such as new moves, different materials or textures, or maybe a different prefab model. Then, that variant data would be assigned to the base script for your enemy. If, later in design, you wanted to change the health for all of the blob types across your game, you simply have to change the base scriptable object. Scriptable objects aren't just for handling data, they're also capable of performing functions and support custom editors in the inspector. For instance, in this project, I've created a scriptable object class for sound effects that allows me to manipulate them dynamically. The class holds an audio clip and allows me to vary the pitch and volume of my sound. I've also created a custom editor script that allows me to preview the sound effect in the editor. This is extremely useful as it means that I don't have to assign the asset to anything, and I'm not forced to play the game to preview the outcome of the sound. It works right here in the editor. When I do want the sound to play in game, I just have to assign the asset to a reference and call the play method on the asset from the script. So, that's just a brief overview of the power of scriptable objects. This is honestly just tip of the iceberg stuff for how flexible they can be. So I've posted some links below for further reading for anyone that's interested, and hopefully you can see a way they'll be helpful for you in your project. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and leave a comment. Let me know if you're new to scriptable objects, or if you've been using them for a while, let me know what you're using them for. And of course, if you're interested in more game dev tips, tricks, and tutorials, be sure to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.